welcome to Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast, your podcast dedicated to all things Animal Crossing. Episode 163 is brought to you by Breeze, Alex Gimson, and SkinnyDip666, some of our newest Patreon patrons. This week, Nina, Sergio, and I are going to recap the Toy Day event and go over our thoughts on the day. After, we'll look back at the year of 2020 in Animal Crossing New Horizons. So to begin, hello Nina, how are you doing?
I'm doing jolly good. How about you?
That's great. And then hi Sergio, how are you?
I'm doing pretty awesome too, yeah. Things are going really well.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you're both doing great. I am excited. We just finished up Toy Day. We are heading into a new event this upcoming week. Of course, we always record just before these past two events. So we're going to get our thoughts on the last event and, just kind of look back. And, I was thinking next week we'll probably look forward, come up with some things that we would like to see for 2021. So just something for people to look forward to here. Hopefully it's a much better year. I know a lot of struggle happened this past year, but I think it's safe to say Animal Crossing made it that much better, right?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Cool. So let's get into it. Let's actually start with the Toy Day recap. We just finished up Toy Day. It was last Friday, so it's pretty fresh in our minds. It's Monday right now as we're recording. But I want to start by giving you all an overview of what happened. Basically, Jingle is in town, the black-nosed reindeer. Always a pleasure for him to grace us with his presence, but he needs our help. So if you just go find Jingle, usually he's walking around your plaza, that sort of thing, you can talk to him and learn a brand new DIY, a festive DIY for festive wrapping paper. And it just takes 3 ornaments to craft, one of each color, but you basically just crafted 3 pieces for him and then handed them over, and from there he would finally recruit you to deliver presents to all of your friends around the island. So you get this magic bag. Wonderful little item. It really felt like I dressed up like Santa right before, so the bag felt really special. It felt like it wrapped up the whole get-up, But if it would have 10 presents in there, I'm assuming if you had 9 villagers at the time or any less before then, would probably just have the amount of presents you need to give a present to each villager. But in my case, I had 10, so I gave out those presents to all 10 villagers. It didn't really work like New Leaf, where you had to dig into the bag and pick the right present for everybody. It just kind of gave them a present. They were happy with what they got, and it was a lot like my life growing up, No choices. I felt like it was pretty realistic, so I like that aspect of it.
Were you not a child who made lists of things that you wanted?
Oh, come on. I would make lists, but getting things on those lists, come on. Does that actually happen? No.
What? Yes, it does.
Not for kids like me.
Oh, no.
But anyways, if you delivered all of these presents to everybody, you could return to Jingle, tell him you're done, and he'd reward you with a whole another slew of little gifts here. So you would get the festive stocking, a gift boxes DIY recipe, and something very special if you put your stocking out. I won't say it quite yet, but it was very special. After that, you did get to do some other things. This part was kind of optional, I noticed. There wasn't really any indicator that this would happen, but if you went and talked to your villagers, it would say, hey, do you want to exchange gifts? If you didn't have a gift on you, you could always say no, get prepared for that sort of thing. Me, I just happened to have gifts on me because I did want to gift things to my villagers on the day, and I didn't know it was going to be an official thing. But you can do a gift exchange with your villagers. You give your villagers gifts, and you actually got a friendship point bonus. I think it was worth 3 friendship points if you gave them a gift. So a little bit more than usual. But yeah, kind of a little special bonus there. But you could give them anything. They were a little bit more interactive if you gave them an actual toy, because it is Toy Day after all. I know some people avoided that because all of these items you give them usually find their way into your villagers' houses. So, you know, try to pick something you want to see in their place.
Right, right, right.
um, but if you gave them a toy, you would receive like a toy back from them. Or I think if you gave them any gift, they would give you a toy, right? I believe so.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was
So
usually a new color.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the big thing there. It was usually a color that doesn't appear on your island, so anybody who was having trouble finding friends to trade with, or anybody who just doesn't have the online, or anybody who they can play with locally, they do have access to other colors somehow, which tends to be a real issue with all of the other items in the game, but it's not for Toy Day, apparently. We can get different colored toys here. But yeah, I mean, once you were done with that, if you were satisfied with all the gifts you gave out, if you already finished the event, that was it. It didn't take too long to do. I think, an hour, 2 hours or so, and you were pretty done. I think most people did it probably in under an hour, especially those who kind of like skipped the gift exchange portion, because the straight jingle portion of it, I don't know, 30 minutes maybe. It
Yeah.
wasn't long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's the recap for this whole event. So I want to chat with you. What did you think of it? So let's start with these questions. How did Toy Day go on your island? Sergio, do you want to kick us off here?
Yeah. It went pretty great. Luckily, I had a little bit of help from a friend from Haken. He kind of gave me a heads up about the wrapping paper, so I was kind of ready for that. And luckily, I had been buying toys, throughout the whole month at the store, so I had plenty of toys to give. Unfortunately, yeah, that same friend told me about the stockings. He reminded me to put them up, and I forgot. And yeah, I missed out. But as I always say, something for year two.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's kind of funny. I guess what made you forget? You just didn't get a chance.
I just forgot, and I usually try to play like Animal Crossing like once a day and just do everything. So I was already done by then, and I just forgot to go back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a situation where you just don't log back in and you just kind of
Yeah,
missed it.
yeah.
I get that. Yeah, I did it with all of my characters, pretty much.
Oh
wow.
my God.
Um,
You're up to like 5 now, aren't you? Or more?
well, here's the thing. I still have to log in as all of them. I don't know if I could still get it. Like, I'm not sure if it only appears on the next day, like you have to do it the 25th, or if it's still in there. So I actually have to log in as other characters and find out. Maybe I'll do that while we're doing this, since
Yeah.
my game is always on in the background here. um, but yeah, so I mean, there's a possibility I have like 4 of them, because one character I actually decided not to do any of the tasks. I basically got the bag and then bailed and then saved and quit. And I want to check if we can keep the bag like we could in New Leaf.
Yes.
So I'll check that too while we're at it. Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm glad you had a good time with it, Sergio.
Yeah, and about the bag, that's another thing I want to do in year two for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mm.
mean, that could mean you would have to use another character to try it out, because I think you will miss out on the jingle photo again if you decide to do it.
Oh
I
man.
guess that makes sense.
Well, actually, no, you do have the stocking item already,
Yeah.
so you probably could just put out that same one. It would be interesting if you put out 2 and you got 2 photos of him
Oh,
the
I'll
next
try
year.
that. Yeah.
We're gonna have to remember this. We need like a podcast historian at this point. Like, keep track of the things we want to test out and remind us on the day that it happens, and then we can test it out.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Keeping the bag, that was something I definitely wanted to try, especially ever since you mentioned that you could do that, because I didn't even know that you could do that in New Leaf. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, Nina, how did your Toy Day go?
Mine was super good. I actually, woke up in the morning and didn't play right away. Um, and then you started streaming kind of early in the morning, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it wasn't too early in the morning. I think I was already like 10 for me
Oh,
when
okay,
I
then
when
I
I
was
logged
being
on.
super lazy. I just hadn't played yet. And so decided to watch you play the event because I really don't mind spoilers. I feel like everyone's experience is different, even if you're playing the same event. So I've never been too afraid of spoilers. And I really enjoyed watching you play it through first because I got to see different dialogue than what I saw, which was a good little treat.
Oh.
And I just it gave me ideas for what I wanted to give my villagers versus what you gave them for the gift exchange. And so it was a nice whole day. I also didn't have Christmas plans with my family on Christmas Day because it was freezing in Atlanta and we couldn't do our outdoor, COVID activities.
Hmm.
So it really made the day like super Christmassy for me when it wasn't going to be very Christmassy. So I got to watch you do it and then I got to do it and it was nice.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I did. I do remember you just hopping in and saying, "I haven't even done it. I'm just watching," and I was a little bit surprised.
Yeah.
But then I was like, "Oh yeah, we kind of have different attitudes with like the spoiler stuff and everything." Because me, I
Yeah.
was just like, I kept seeing people like the last couple of days hop on and be like, "Oh, we're doing the Toy Day event today," and I'm like, "It's not Toy Day. How dare you?"
Well, yeah, I didn't watch any of them ahead of time, but I figure,
Hmm.
that's what I was doing. I was making cinnamon rolls for breakfast, as like a special Christmas treat and
Hmm.
wanted, something Christmassy to watch. So there you were. It was perfect.
Yeah, I guess that does work out.
Follow Chuy on Twitch, everybody.
Yeah, and get Nina to stream again
Oh,
because we missed
yeah,
that.
I know I need to. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that you were able to see like some differences between both of our experiences too, because I remember talking to you after and you mentioning that like you were avoiding giving your villagers toys. You didn't really want to see some of those items pop up in their homes.
Yes.
And so like I specifically went through and I was just like, I'm choosing a toy for all my villagers. I don't even care at this point. I feel like, I have all of the different types of toys. I feel like I can find one that will look pretty good in their place. So I just went for it with the toys. And I think all of them appreciated it. And it was nice to see that dialogue. But yeah, I guess what was the difference between you and not giving them a toy?
Yeah.
Well, I think I have this down under one of your other questions in our little doc. Um, so I don't I might want to save talking about that because I talked to Jackie about it too, and I think she felt the same way about giving
Mm-hmm.
certain toys to different types of villagers.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll guess I'll just go ahead and jump ahead. So she and I both kind of feel that some of our villagers are like older adults, and why would they want toys? Like, is specifically the cranky villagers. Like, I didn't want to give one of my cranky villagers like the RC cars or something. But I also
Mm-hmm.
don't want a lot of them to have those items in their homes because, like, Blanche, for example, has like this really elegant, like kimono themed home. Then she'd have like a little toy puppy in her house. Like, I don't, so I was really wrestling with what to give them because the dialogue I saw from you when you were giving them actual toys was adorable. Um, and when you would give them something that wasn't a toy, it it just wasn't as charming. It was still really cute. They were like, "Oh, I love it," or "Oh, I thank you for being so thoughtful," or whatever. But the when you gave them a toy, it was more like, I remember playing with this as a kid, or I don't
Mm,
know.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
just like more specific, I guess.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Mm-hmm.
rambly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, no, I get that for sure. There are definitely those memory moments that they would have with you when you gave those toys and everything.
Yeah.
But it's also really funny you mentioned like, the villagers are kind of more adult in nature because they do when you give them the toy, they're like, "Oh, I used to play with this as a kid,"
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
Yeah.
But, the funniest experience I had with it was Grizzly specifically because I picked
Mm.
out like his whole interior is a campsite
Mm-hmm.
essentially inside. He has a big bonfire. He has all sorts of outdoor looking furniture. It looks the wall is the sky, like a night sky kind of thing. So his place is very outdoorsy, the inside of it. And I was like, oh, I'm going to give him one of these tents that will look really good. And it does. It looks so good in his place. He replaced his bonfire with a tent,
Oh,
and I'm
cool.
not sad about it at all. It just looks so much better in there. But at the same time, Grizzly responded like, "Oh, I mean, I thought this would be a little too childish for me, but whatever, it's toy day kind of thing." And I'm like, "But this really works for you. Like adults
Yeah,
love tents."
that's true. Who doesn't love a tent?
Yeah, so I mean, I know it's called the kids tent, so
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
there's that going against it, but overall, I felt like it was the most mature present that I could give to Grizzly, and I
Mm-hmm.
felt like it would really work in his place. And honestly, I like it a lot. I really like going in there and now seeing that he has a tent there instead of
Yeah.
the bonfire.
Yeah. It and I visited your town I think the next day and saw it. It does look really cute. Um but yeah, long story short, I'm glad I got to watch your villagers' reactions versus the reactions they had for me.
Yeah, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I guess for me, I guess how Toy Day went on my island overall, I thought it was splendid. It was pretty satisfying doing the gift giving for me, just because, like I said earlier, I spent a lot of time in my closet going through the toys and picking out specific ones for every single one of my villagers. And once I gave it to them, it just felt like, yeah, this is perfect for you. I feel like I really nailed it with the gift here. And then they gave me a toy back, and I was like, oh, cool, it's one of the other colors that I didn't. I mean, I had them all, but maybe I wanted a couple more of the others for the future. I don't know.
Mhm.
Who knows what I'm gonna do with them at this point, but yeah, overall, I liked it. I liked that there was jingle stuff and also stuff with your villagers, and it just felt like pretty special to give them two gifts. Kind of that's the same reaction. I don't know if you all noticed the dialogue the next day, but for any villagers that you gifted with, they were pretty appreciative of getting a
Yeah.
present from both you and Jingle that day. So I don't know. I think that really tied the bow on that whole Toy Day present.
That's
It just
true.
it made it feel really nice that I spent some time to do the Santa thing and then spent some time to pick out presents for all my villagers because I feel like, once I get their photo, I stop giving them stuff and I'm just like, man, am I being a bad friend? Should I be gifting them more things? So the whole week I was looking forward to just specifically giving them things. And so yeah, I thought it was a nice event overall.
Is that the
Um,
first event we've had where the villagers have thought back on what has happened?
I think so. I don't remember them really mentioning like Halloween or Bunny Day, and I mean honestly, people would have been very upset if they still were
They
still
still were
hearing about
talking.
Bunny Day the day after Bunny Day. So probably, not too bad there. But yeah, I mean outside of that, like the Turkey Day event was so short and they didn't really like it would have been nice to hear them talk about how bloated they were the next
That's
day
true.
from
Like
all the
I'm
food
still
they
full from yesterday. That would be so cute.
Yeah, like I'm stuffed. I can't do anything anymore. Um, but yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, because they were like, you were the star of Toy Day or whatever. That's I like that. I just put two and two together when you mentioned that, and I really enjoy it.
yeah. It's nice. I really do like that. It feels like the event really happened the day after because so many
Yeah.
things in Animal Crossing after it's done, it's just like cool, back to regular life. You
I
know?
feel like Christmas is like that in real life too, because it's such a huge holiday for so many people, the next day it doesn't really feel like it's over yet.
Yeah, it doesn't. It just feels like there's I don't know. I don't know. But, overall, I feel like what they did with this game is like the festive season isn't quite over yet, anyways. Like the trees, sure, the decorations came down around the plaza and everything, but they've got another event to deal with coming up real soon.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got to clear that out, get ready for the next event. But the trees
Oh,
are still lit up, the
yeah.
ornaments are still available through January 6th. So though Toy Day itself is gone, like you can still get festive and keep it going for, at
Well,
least the rest of the year.
and the Plaza Tree stayed an extra day too, didn't it?
Oh, I actually don't
Yeah.
remember.
I think
Cool.
Isabel even said it was like today's the last day for the tree, or didn't she, or something like
Mm.
that?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I do remember that now. Yeah, she
Okay.
said it's all getting put away tomorrow. So and take some pictures. She said specifically, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yes.
maybe technically it was, I mean, in a programming way, it was still a toy day because they were still talking about it because the Plaza Tree was still there. Like
Oh, okay.
in general, it
Mm-hmm.
still kind of counts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool.
It's so, I mean, it was a really good little event.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, I had a good time for sure. So my next little question here, maybe this is a little bit redundant now that we've gone so deep with this first one, but what did you think of the event now that it's over? Sergio.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. I guess my favorite part, like with most events, is the long lasting parts of it, like usually before. So I really enjoyed, getting to see a new item on the shops every day. But as for the event itself, I think my favorite part was that you had to talk to your villagers basically twice. It
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
felt it felt very inclusive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, Animal Crossing, it tends to turn into a game where you're just like, okay, I talked to you. I'm going off and doing my thing. Just because, you get used to what they're saying and everything. You don't really have to
Right.
talk to them. You're busy. You got things to do around town.
Right.
But yeah, this one was nice where it was just like, slow down. Just like enjoy the time and get to speak with your villagers a little. They've got some special things to say today.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So Nina, I guess what did you think?
I was there anything that no wait, hold on. Surprised me? No. What are we
We're
what did
on
I
the what
think?
did you think of the event? Yeah.
Okay. Um I so again, I really liked it. I loved how slowly the town built up to it. Because
Yes.
the plaza slowly got extra stuff, just like on Halloween, right? Um
Mm-hmm.
and uh, I like when that happens. I like when it makes the events more than just like one big huge day. When it like I don't know, when it leads up to it really slowly is super nice. Um
Mm-hmm.
and like we said before, being like they kind of expanded it this year that it wasn't just working for Jingle, it was also doing a gift exchange. So, yeah, I thought it was a good one. I thought it was a pretty good one.
Yeah, yeah, I like that too. Yeah, just like you, I like the build up to things. Just collecting the toys the whole
Yeah.
time before
Yeah.
the event actually happened felt like a whole task that was special. It
Mhm.
felt like, oh, there's all this new items that we get to enjoy before the event even happens, which is kind of the opposite of the October update where the game updated and we still had to wait a couple days before it actually turned October to
Yeah.
enjoy it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think overall this one was like right away we felt the effects and we were able to play and have some fun.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I guess my next question here was there anything that surprised you about the event? I guess Nina will let you jump into this one first.
I was totally surprised not only to see the villagers in their Santa hats, I thought that was adorable, but I love how in New Horizons they're getting all the NPCs to kind of join in the fun too. So they were in their little Santa hats, and back in Halloween they were all in different costumes also. So I think that's been a big surprise for me in general is just how much I mean, because they can't be out in the plaza like they were for New Leaf, they're still kind of trying to find ways to make sure that NPCs are still participating, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah, I like that too. Specifically because like the day before Toy Day, I kind of went all out and gifted all of my villagers festive sweaters because I wanted to
Yeah.
see them in those on Toy Day and everything. Some of them wore them, which was really nice. Others kind of changed into their own thing, which is expected.
Hmm.
But I was also like, oh, did I do this too late? Should I have given them all festive hats as well? It would be really cute to see them like that. And then I walk out and they're all wearing them already. And I was just like, this is amazing. They look so cute. Not only are they wearing their festive hats, but they also have the festive sweaters that I gave to them. So it was very satisfying to see them dressed up for the holiday for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, Sergio, what surprised you with it?
Well, I mean, we did have a little bit of lead up, like I said, with the items, but honestly, I was surprised that we didn't get the hints like in New Leaf. I was expecting
Mm.
that, and yeah, I was surprised that we didn't get that part of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we did a whole corrections corner last week just saying that, oh, this is not a thing, people. There are no
Yeah.
hints. They're just like kind of saying they're going to trade gifts with you. So nothing really serious to keep track of here. They're not
Yeah.
being incredibly subtle, even though I was definitely looking for some clues at first.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. It's a surprise. Yeah, for me, I was surprised by the gift exchange, to be honest. Like, I knew we were going to be delivering things as per usual for Jingle, but I did not expect that the gift exchange portion was going to be as official as it was, you know? I knew that I was saving up toys so I could gift everybody the right one for their place and
Hmm.
everything. But when they made a whole big deal of it, I was just delighted. It was so nice to see that my efforts here were actually like being kind of reciprocated by the villagers. Like they were
Yeah.
all thinking about what they should get me as well. So it was just really sweet. It was a really sweet way to handle that portion of the game.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So my next question for both of you is there anything you would change about the event now that we've gone through it? Let's be a little critical here. So, Sergio, I always like your critique of these.
Well, yeah, definitely. I would have added the hint system back. Maybe not as
Mm.
tough. I feel like New Leaf was a little bit tough, you know.
It
So
Mm,
I
was.
would kind of tone it down a little bit, but still have a little something to do throughout the month to
yeah.
encourage you to talk to the villagers. And then also, if possible, I would add more item varieties, even more color
Hmm.
choices and toys, so that we had more things to buy and more chances to get a new item during the gift exchange.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And I do want to mention like the new Leaf event was pretty tough and I forget how forgiving it was, but I get the impression that it was like basically if you got, you couldn't just get one present wrong, you would always get two if you got one wrong because
Yes,
that
Yeah.
means
that's right. That's right.
Like a
you gave
multiple or like a matching quiz in school. If you got one wrong, then you're getting two wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just that's not the only one you're going to get wrong, basically.
Hmm.
So I think like if you missed two at that point, like you would miss out on one of the things, which I think was Jingle's photo. So like the after effects of the event were more like disappointment if you got anything wrong, which it's Animal Crossing. I feel like you shouldn't feel disappointed the next day after Toy
Yeah.
Day, you know? I feel like you should feel overall fulfilled that it went well.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I really do. I really don't mind that they kind of removed that challenge aspect to it, just because I don't know. I feel like sometimes you rush these things. Sometimes you didn't have time to get clues from all of your villagers and everything. So you might as well not have tried if you're gonna miss out on all these things,
Oh, that's so
So
sad.
well, yeah. I mean, that's the disappointment you're gonna
Yeah.
feel the next day when you don't get all the prizes that you were out
Mm.
for. Yeah. So I guess Nina, how did anything surprise you? Or
Or
wait,
no?
is that what would you change about it?
What would I
Sorry.
change? We're all
I
over the
accidentally
place
scrolled up
today.
a little bit.
So I'm kind of on board with the both of you. I would love for there to be more items, and like I said earlier, for some of those toy items to be like a little bit more grown up, I guess, so that it could fit in with more of their homes. Um, I don't. I'd have to brainstorm more on what kind of items that
Hmm.
could be. Um, or maybe if they were like more kind of old fashioned traditional toys instead of like a lot of these were newer, like battery operated toys, like the
Hmm.
puppies and the RC cars and stuff. So maybe if it was like old fashioned, like wooden, like clinker carts or trains or something like that, they could look better.
Jacks,
Yeah,
spinning
they could look
tops.
better in the villagers' homes. I don't know, like cute little old fashioned toys. Um, so maybe that'll be different next year. Who knows? Like again, I don't know if they're going to be changing the meat of these events next year, or if it's just going to be little things that they're going to change. I don't. I'm so
Mm.
excited for year two to see what's coming. Um,
Hmm.
but okay, I'm off topic again. So changing about the event, um, I ended up giving a lot of my villagers clothing for their gift exchange gifts, and they didn't change into that clothing like they do with normal like daily gifts. So I was a
Hmm.
little upset about that because I was giving them like the holiday sweaters that I thought that they'd change into.
Oh,
So it was kind of disappointing for that. But you know, once it happened a couple of times, I started switching up my routine. I didn't want it to
yeah.
happen to everybody. So I don't know. I was kind of surprised, and I'd like that to change too. If you are giving them clothing, just let them like normal. Let them switch into their new clothing.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Did they end up wearing the clothing at all the next few days, or did they display it in their house?
A little of both. But that
Mm.
kind of happens when you give them the clothing anyways for regular
Hmm.
days. So it still wasn't extra special. But like Blanche was wearing like a workout top while it was snowing all day. And she just looked so cold. I wanted her in a sweater. And so that was a little disappointing. But, you know, now I know.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's definitely the bummer with those. Just I don't know why the characters are so into their workout tank tops and everything.
For
Because I
real.
feel like it's winter now. At least wear something long sleeves for me, please. Because I can't see
Yeah.
you suffer like
Oh,
this.
I mean, I guess they have feathers and fur, but still.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Awesome. As far as what I would change, I just feel like overall with the events, I want to see more participation, specifically from
Mm,
like the other shop owners, Tom Nook and Isabel. I want them to come out and celebrate with everybody. Like
yeah.
they're locked in their shops the whole time. How much cuter would it be if instead for that day they just had a booth and they had like little special things that they
Oh,
sold instead of, like just show up in the plaza, open up a little booth, sell something special, have something fun going on.
Yeah.
Um,
like those
and
Christmas carnival booths. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, from what I've seen, I read this on the actual like news section of the Nintendo Switch. I don't know how many people actually check that. I just see the dot there notifying me that there's some news, and so I click on it. One day I clicked on it, and there was this whole description of like what to expect during the winter and everything. And
Oh.
so I read it, and they mentioned that the shops are going to be closed on Countdown Day. Um,
Whoa.
so that's Thursday,
Oh.
and
Breaking
I
news.
I don't know if that means that we're gonna see Sable and Mabel out and about, or Timmy and Tommy out and about
Oh.
again, but I do hope that that's something that happens. Because, like I said, they're at work all day. They need to take one day of the year off at least.
They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
I
so
will lose my mind if all of the shop NPCs are in the plaza. That would be
yeah, just
amazing.
walking around because okay, here's the thing. I really miss being able to just like talk to them and have conversations with them. I mean, they don't say
Yeah.
too much in previous games either, but specifically the one that makes me sad is whenever Isabel is like looking outside longingly out the window
Yes.
and everything. And I'm like, I should be able to talk to her from across the counter right here. Like she's close enough. My A button input should initiate a conversation right here. And I've tried, but it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
work. And it's so sad to me that we don't see any interaction with like
Yeah.
Isabel at all. So
All
I
those
I don't know.
all those backstories we used to get from the NPCs. So yeah, I miss that.
Yeah, a lot of that's pretty disappeared in this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got my fingers crossed for what this next one will look like, this next event, just because if Nintendo told me this information, like it's straight up, you can look at it on your Nintendo Switch in the news section. You can find that article for Animal Crossing, and it says buy your apple cider or whatever before the event because
Interesting.
it's the shops are closed and you won't be able to buy them then. So
I'm so excited now. We'll see. We might have to do another corrections corner, but we'll see.
yeah, and I mean I'm thinking we won't just because it does
Yeah.
say it will be closed. But the one thing we just don't know is like where are these shop owners going to be? Because I
Right.
miss seeing like Timmy or Tommy walking around. you know,
I
it was really
know.
fun for that.
I still really want, I know this is not going to happen, but I still really want all the NPCs to have their own little homes and that you can see them walk to the shops to open them on time and walk home at night. Oh, it would be
yeah,
so cute.
yeah, that would be adorable. Honestly, something we need for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
Yeah. So my last question here is, how would you rate this event to previous Toy Days? Is it better? Is it worse? What are you thinking, Nina?
I think on par. Not really much has changed. I know we didn't have the list of items that villagers wanted, but instead we got the gift exchange. So it reminded me very much of old Toy Days past, and
Hmm.
it was nice to kind of relive those little memories. It was a good one.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad you liked it. What do you think, Sergio?
Yeah, it was nice for sure, but I do agree the New Leaf one, because it was a little more involved. I kind of
Mm,
prefer that one, but this one was good too.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. And I definitely missed a little bit more of that personal interaction that you get with the villagers leading up to it, too.
Hmm.
Sergio likes a challenge.
Yeah. I mean, he already on purpose missed something this year, so you could look forward to it next year, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely on purpose. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, my thoughts, I mean, for me it was like pretty similar. Not too much of a change from the norm. The only real difference was that we weren't really making notes of what the villagers wanted leading up to the event, but yeah, I think overall a little less challenge can be
Mm,
satisfying for that first year, but who knows? I'm okay if they step it up for next year and do something different. And overall, I am
Mm.
hoping that they change things up enough and, just give us a new set of toys, new items to collect, new DIYs. That would
yeah.
be much appreciated for the upcoming events.
Mm.
So, I guess we should move on to our next topic, and that's actually looking back at the year 2020, and hopefully in a little bit more positive light because it's going to be Animal Crossing themed this look back. Um, Animal Crossing, for me, saved the year, March 2020. I mean, I would have loved if it came out last year like they originally said, but 2020 is fine. I think it came out when it needed to.
Yeah.
Hush.
um, but yeah, I want to look back and just kind of, appreciate some of the moments that we had with the game. So to begin with that, what was your favorite moment for New Horizons in 2020, Sergio?
Oh, I definitely have to go with launch day, launch weeks, kind of, because as you may remember, I was lucky enough to save my vacation, my work vacation, for launch of this game, and
Oh
those
yeah.
2 weeks, yeah, being able to play so much and to basically get familiar with the game and seeing what's new. A lot of that was the tutorial part of the game, if you remember, back when we didn't have hourly music yet. But
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. Like I have very fond memories of that, even without the music.
Yeah, yeah, kind of that's taken me back because sometimes I do forget that there was a time in the game before the hourly music happened. So it's funny how long that part of the soundtrack was a mystery to
Yeah,
me,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. But that beginning part of the game too, like it's very different from previous Animal Crossing games. Like I feel like the previous
Yeah.
games really really threw you into it with like not too much direction. I think overall Nintendo does a really great job with their design where, a lot of the direction they give is pretty effective for it being almost non-existent when you
Mm-hmm.
play the games. A lot of people can get into Animal Crossing games, but this one was definitely the most directed, and I think the most. A lot of the effort probably went to new players and everything. So I don't know. A lot of people say the pandemic did it and everything, but I feel overall like players who were new to the series had an easy time figuring out like, oh, there are all these different goals in the game and I didn't really know how deep or how far these went.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that whole beginning was an experience for sure. And you're basically just trying to throw an awesome concert, which is one of my favorite. I love music storylines, and they nailed it with this one.
Yeah, there was a storyline, which is brand new too. So I think that hooked a lot of people also.
Yeah, yeah, I was hooked. So Nina, I guess what was your favorite moment of New Horizons in 2020?
I had a hard time answering this one, and I think because my answer is actually the cherry blossom week, which is a bizarre answer for me. I know that we were all just coming off of Bunny Day, and it was super stressful, and we were all yelling at Nintendo, and they actually changed like the drop rates and things, which was amazing. But something about that cherry blossom, the color change, like when we first started the game, we were still in the March color palette. It was very the grass was pretty much brown, the trees were pretty much brown. And then all of a sudden we got that change into spring, and it just was unbelievable. And the look of the cherry blossom trees were beautiful, and they fall through the sky, it was beautiful. So it kind of felt like that transition into spring was really like a transition much deeper into the game. Like I had more villagers on Keel Hall. I was really getting the hang of decorating my island, and I had paths by then, and I had the terrain changer tool by then too, terraforming. So I don't know, something about that kind of week was a big change, and I keep thinking about how beautiful it was.
Yeah, yeah, this game has had a real way of making me like the seasons a lot more.
Yeah.
Just like I don't know, I think it's for sure the visuals really elevate them, but I think they did a lot to the gameplay to really make it a lot more interactive with each season, where each season came with its unique crafting materials, its unique DIYs. So every time the season would shift, it felt like there was so much more to work toward. And
Mm.
and I don't know. I think that's definitely something the game needed, especially like going into it. I was like, a lot of people aren't impressed with winter in the game, but
Right.
now I'm just like, oh man, there are all these festive DIYs, all these snow DIYs, the ice ones building the snow boy. It's like it's pretty, that's the challenge for you, Sergio. A lot of people are having trouble with those perfect snow boys.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so just trying to get all of those recipes and everything. So they they did a lot of great work with the seasons for sure. And I'm glad you enjoyed the spring one.
Mm.
Yeah. For me, my favorite moment, it actually came very recently. And I think I mean overall I really liked that Jackie was able to get into Animal Crossing, and I think she was skeptical at first. She was like, I mean, I get it. Chewy got this other Switch. He gave me his other one and got me the game. I guess I'll give it a go and everything. And just like seeing her enjoy the game so much this year. I mean, she definitely had her moments where she was like, kind of near the end of summer, she was like, I'm kind of bored. I don't need to check in. So she took a little
Mm-hmm.
break. And then things changed into autumn, and I don't think she's taken a break since. She still like
Wow.
logs in every day and plays and everything. But like overall, I like that. But I think my favorite moment of this is definitely related around that. But it was watching Jackie open up the game after the first snow had like fallen and stuck and everything. She's very expressive when she sees things, so it's fun to watch her react
Aw.
and and her seeing the world covered in snow for the first time was great. uh, and the other thing is like she's also the type of person who doesn't want to see any of the trailers. She doesn't want to see any of the update trailers or anything. She just
Mm-hmm.
wants to like play the game and experience the change for herself. So we avoided all of the winter stuff. We'd see like a screenshot here and there and be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I can't wait to see that on my island. So I liked the moment of like seeing her walk through Tangerina and just be amazed with the snow and everything. And it just felt like, oh, you're a fan. I feel like it's not something that I just kind of like pushed onto you anymore. It's just like you enjoy the game and you like checking in and playing a little bit here and there. And it's really nice to see that we can both share this in a little way now.
Hmm. I love hearing you talk about Jackie. It's the sweetest thing in the world.
Yeah, I like talking about her.
Oh.
Okay, so I guess my next question for both of you is, what was your favorite event for the year? Nina, do you want to kick us off here?
Um, yes, this is another one that kind of surprised me because I immediately was like, "Oh, it's got to be Halloween." I had so much fun with Halloween, but I mean, because it had like all the lead up, it had brand new costumes. We got that makeup and hair colors. Um, but if we're going for like actual event activities, like the day, what we do, I think it's actually Harvest Festival for me, or Turkey Day now we call it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I love how hard it is. I love how long it takes. The dialogue from Franklin always cracks me up. There's something so charming about him trying to cook like amazing, like nearly French cuisine of like fish and mussels. And he's like trying to move away from eating turkey. And the villagers all were hanging out in the plaza with their little plates. And I just thought it was a really cute one. Something about Harvest Festival or Turkey Day always brings me back. I love it.
Yeah, and I'll actually bounce off of yours too because I chose the same one as my
Ah,
favorite.
Ah,
Turkey Day took it for me, and it was. I mean, the one unfortunate part of it to me was that there really wasn't any lead up to Turkey Day.
yeah.
Outside of like, we get the regular post on the bulletin, and then it's Turkey Day. It's come. But
Mm-hmm.
so outside of that, like the event itself was just really great for me. I did it 5 times and wasn't even
Wow.
tired of that. But I mean, it was the furniture, the items that we got for it that really
Mm-hmm.
nailed it for me. Like just the fact that right after we were done, we were rewarded with every single recipe, and the recipes were available in the shop the next days if you
Mm-hmm.
didn't do the event and everything. I was just like, oh man, this is like forgiving in such a cool way where it's like if you missed it, you still can benefit from buying this really expensive DIY pack. It was pretty expensive. I want to say like 20 something thousand bells. Of
Wow.
course, that's not much once you're further in the game, but like if you did the event, like you just get to enjoy it. And there were I really liked the standalone items that we got, the ones that
Mm-hmm.
we couldn't craft.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main reason I did the event 5 times. And I honestly only did the main dishes with my extra characters. I didn't do any of like the bonus recipes or anything just
Oh,
because I was like, I don't really need that with those other
right.
characters. Um
Oh, and the
So
little stove tops in all the villagers' houses when they were cooking, they all had
Oh
different
yeah.
ones and it matched their homes. Oh, it was so cute.
yeah, they were all dressed up. So I feel like it was a good variety of things where
Hmm.
the villagers were adorable. They're waiting for the food, holding their plates, jumping around. It was great. And then inside, the villagers were cooking and
Hmm.
all dressed up and giving you all these recipes, tips, and everything. So it just felt like there was a lot of commotion outside and
Yeah.
around. And I feel like that's what I want from the events. Like, I want it to feel like the plaza is full and bustling. Like, the plaza was very full and bustling in Turkey
Hmm.
Day.
Hmm.
Um, so, yeah. And then on top of that, we had just gotten all of these new emotes and stuff, and we could, like, sit down
Oh
and
yeah.
ta-da, and they worked perfectly. The new reactions were great with it. So, yeah, I think overall Turkey Day really stole it for me, and it was definitely the items. I am using them all over the place. The harvest rug, adorable. The floor, the Turkey Day floor, some people said
Oh,
they were
they're
underwhelmed by
beautiful.
it,
No.
but I loved it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Sergio, I guess what was your pick here?
My pick, actually, I'm serious about this. It's Bunny Day.
What?
I did like it. So it's because it had the most lead up. Back
Mm.
then we were catching eggs left and right, and we didn't really know how many we were gonna need. I do remember they were a little bit of obnoxious at some point, but it was just nice to be reminded that the event was coming up basically every day as you just play the game. And then honestly, like when the event happened, it was pretty quick. Like most of the fun that I remember having in Bunny Day was just interacting with the eggs as I play the game normally, and it was nice. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, and honestly, if I were to make an honorable mentions list, Bunny Day would actually top it for me.
I don't
Just
know. I
because,
don't know you two. I don't know who you are anymore.
well, I think I think of Bunny Day a lot like I think of Amiibo Festival,
Oh,
where the ideas behind it are good. I think the
yeah.
ideas are
Yeah.
good. The execution missed it a little bit. The execution for me, I mean, overall, I think the furniture from Bunny Day is absolutely
Oh
hideous. I
yes,
Oh,
don't
it's
yes,
want it.
awful.
yes,
But like to see it so integrated into the world and make it feel like it's so part of everything you're doing, I do appreciate that aspect. And I think, you know, we've praised that for some of the other seasons, like the Toy Day stuff, being able to collect stuff beforehand and prepare a little bit for it, even though, it's not a huge deal whether you do it or not. I really do like that aspect to it. And so Bunny Day like integrated that to the max in some extent. I just think
Mm,
overall the items brought it down. Nobody
yes,
cared for
yeah.
the eggs. Nobody cared for the items.
yeah,
I think it's just like if it were any other holiday that did this, it would be much more forgiven, especially the timing of it too, where we are already incredibly busy with collecting literally everything in the game. It'd been out two
yes.
weeks or so before Bunny Day festivities began. So
That's
I don't
true.
know. It's just like bad timing. Integration was overwhelming with it. So, but overall, I think the idea behind it is pretty good. Just like the idea of an Animal Crossing party game is still fantastic in
I
my
know.
eyes.
I know. It just needs to be online.
Yes, it does need online and it needs to be better. It
Well,
needs to be a
that
good game.
also. There's some balancing issues, but oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I
And
wonder I wonder if next year we're gonna have different items. I know I've already said this in this episode, but I'm just so interested to see what they're changing for year two.
yeah, I'm so ready for that. We'll talk about that a lot next year. What at least what our hopes would be for changes. I think that'll be a good topic for sure. I wanted to give one more honorable mention for the events, and it's another one that I think was brought down by the items that we got from it. The wedding season event at
Oh
Harbs Island.
yeah.
I mean, you either like weddings or you don't.
Mm.
I feel like there's a pretty hard line with that. I tend to like them, but I like anything with free food, so so there's that. But overall, I think the wedding event is, and this might have been taken out by, COVID and having trouble developing things, but I think the real opportunity with the wedding day event was having continuous monthly events at Harv's Island that kept introducing new furniture into the game in
Mm-hmm.
some way.
Yes.
It was a little demanding of you. I think I did the math, and you had to do the event in full like 16 times or something to be able to get one of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But, with some of the items, you want multiples of them. There are
Right.
chairs
The
to go
candles
around
are super
tables.
cool. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. So I think the prices needed a little bit of balancing for the rewards that you
Mm-hmm.
got. But outside of that, like I think this is an opportunity for them in year two. I'm kind of hoping that they give us an interactive way to earn some new items because that's been one of the biggest complaints from people online, where it's just like the game doesn't have enough furniture. People miss the old series. People want some of it back. And like this is a good way to put it back. Like just let us earn it in some different way.
Mm.
So
Yeah, yeah.
that's my other honorable mention there. But I'll defend aspects of Bunny Day too. So
Oh my gosh. I
all right.
I kind of agree with you for the wedding day that it seemed like it was going to be a formula um that could be repeated with many different types of events, and then it just never was. So we'll see. We'll see if it continues again.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, anything can happen in year two. Aya Kyogoku, she wants to give us some surprises, so
Ah, she's
I'm ready.
amazing.
She is amazing. Love her. Okay, so my next question: did you have any regrets with your playthrough? I'll kick this one off here. I regret every single time I missed a KK Slider show because it's going to
Mm.
take me weeks and weeks and weeks to
Oh.
get all of the KK Slider show Nook Miles rewards. I think you have to see him like 60 times or something. I think that's my next one right now. I think it's 60, then like
Oh
a
gosh, that's
100.
so many. I haven't watched him in so long.
My heart.
I know.
You
You killed
guys.
Honestly,
me with Bunny Day, and I'm killing you with KK. I'm so sorry.
I mean, let me tell you, Sergio, I think I've missed less than a handful of shows, so less than five. I think I'm at 32 right now. The bummer was I missed this past weekend because
Mm.
and I knew I was missing it. I was laying in bed and I was just like tired. And I'm never tired. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to accept today as a loss here. But the other regret I have outside of just missing KK Slider shows because it's going to take me weeks and weeks to get that. I'm pretty sure I forgot to do Gulliver's task like once or twice, the one where I dig up the
Oh,
the the rusty parts. Is that what they're called?
yeah.
Yeah, so I think I missed that once or twice, and now I'm just like I have no idea where I am in my count for doing Gulliver's things because I think you have to do it like 30 times or something to get the golden shovel, and that's the only golden tool I need to finish up the golden tool rewards in the Nook Miles things. Everything I do in this game at this point is around the Nook Miles. So I don't know. Yeah, those are my regrets. Just missing out on Gulliver sometimes
Mm-hmm.
and KK Slider shows. So, and I think I
Wow.
missed Gullivar once too.
Oh no, it was
But
blasphemous.
but I've made up for that by doing his Gullivar like with every single one of my
I
characters
need to do
a
that.
couple times.
Oh, nice, nice.
So that's five characters that I have on my island.
Oh, I need all your pirate things.
I surprisingly don't still feel like I don't have that many. I'm still missing some. Sometimes I get duplicates as my second characters, and I don't know. It's hard
Mm.
to collect them all. I have a lot
Yeah,
of the outfits, luckily.
I do like how long it's taking. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was introduced in the summer, and it's still going strong. Yeah. So I guess Sergio, any regrets with your playthrough here?
Yeah, for the most part, I regret flattening my island, getting rid of the cliffs, the tiers. I do like the extra space that I was able to get, but then I ended up not really doing anything with the space. It's just
Oh,
more room for flowers to overtake the island.
Mm.
And then when I visited other islands that had like beautiful cliffs and different tiers and the way they integrate them with the inclines, it's so nice. And I'm like, I kind of wish I hadn't done that. But then I think of how much work it would take to rise it up again. I'm like, no.
yeah.
Oh, you could do it
Well, I
slowly
mean,
but surely.
yeah, and like Nina
Yeah,
said, like summer is a good time to do it.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
hmm It took me all summer to re-terraform my place, and I'm already thinking like maybe I want to do it again.
What? You haven't finished yet. Oh no.
Well, I am gonna re-terraform little portions, like some
Mm,
river parts that I've never been a huge fan of and everything. So
yeah.
there are some changes I'm gonna make, but I'm trying to do it more incrementally now.
Yeah.
I'll think about next summer doing like a huge re-terraforming project, but as of right now, like there are only like a few spaces, smaller-ish spaces where I'm like, yeah, this could use some work.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Nina, I guess what are your regrets for this year?
I'm like very surprised to be saying this, but I was playing the other day thinking about how I had already caught all the bugs and all the fish. And how whenever Sergio would talk about how he wasn't catching them all, like he wasn't making himself worried about catching them all, he was saving them for a year too. I was like, Psh, who would want to do that? But now I'm done with all the bugs and the fish, and it kind of makes me sad. Like, I'm glad to have that achievement and to have the encyclopedia filled, and I love having the museum filled and hearing about all the facts from Blathers, but I'm done with the bugs and the fish. I haven't finished the sea creatures yet. I don't think we can until March, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I'm really hoping that possibly they'll figure out a way to add more. I don't know if that's possible or if it would even make sense kind of story wise. Um, like the the tides have shifted. You have new fish somehow. I don't know. Anyways, I just I don't know. I it seems like a very small encyclopedia for such a big game, and I wish there was more. So that's kind of my regret.
yeah.
Yeah, I get that too. Like I'm right at that same spot with you. I finished up the fish, I finished up the bugs, I've got all the fossils since, forever ago. And now I'm basically just waiting on the diving and the art
The
that
art.
will never be new whenever Red comes
Oh.
to my island.
Mm-hmm.
I've started placing kind of rules on myself to slow it down on purpose. So I'm like only buying art from my place.
Hmm.
So that's been kind of difficult. But yeah, no, I totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, man, this game's been out since March. It's been 9 months, and knowing that we were able to complete two whole Critterpedias in that time, and I mean, it honestly could have been three had the diving been in the game since March because
Yes, true.
of stuff.
Mm.
But yeah, just seeing that all of that stuff was so relatively quick to complete if you're really going for it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it takes a bit away from it, I think.
The moral of the story is Sergio is a wise young man.
Yeah, definitely. Missing things on purpose, like Jingle's photo. All right, so my next question for all of you is what was your favorite update? We got a whole lot of them throughout this year, and
Mhm.
yeah, I just want to see which one you liked the most overall. So, Nina, I guess kick us off here.
I think my favorite update is still the summer update. What was it? Number 2, where we were able to swim. Was that the second one? The second summer update? Maybe? I can't remember. Was it the first one?
I want to say it was the first
Okay.
one.
one of the summer updates, where we were able to swim and we got the diving creatures. I remember talking like so vehemently about how excited I was about hearing Blathers talk more about creatures with the museum and filling out the tanks. They look beautiful right now. Getting to unlock piratey things with Gullivar was such a surprise and really boosted my island so much more. With all my pirate stuff, it was such an amazing coincidence for me. And summer is not my season, so on top of all of these amazing things, I was just like double surprised that I was having so much fun with the game. So I think all in all, that's been my favorite update.
Yeah, yeah. I think they did a really good job with filling out the summer a lot more in this one, just because, I feel like the past games have really relied on having so many more bugs and fish to catch. But like on top of that, this year there was like, oh, here are all these new things you can do, and all of a sudden there's this new Critterpedia to worry about. So yeah, it was nice to see that taken into account. So Sergio, I guess what was your favorite update?
Yeah, same one. The
Oh,
swimming and
cool.
diving with the creatures. That was also the same one that added Pascal, right? As soon as we could dive, we could
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
meet my boy.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, he's great. I haven't seen him in a little while because I've kind of felt like it's too cold to go swimming.
Oh, good point.
Oh,
but yeah,
you know what? And
he's
we
fun.
used to shiver when we would come out of the water. I
Oh
miss
yeah.
that.
Does
Oh,
that not happen anymore?
no.
Oh, that's too bad.
But I have been putting on the Nook Ink wetsuit has
Oh,
long
yeah.
sleeves. So I'm making sure that I stay warm by wearing that.
I agree. I switched over to the carrying the longer one in my
Yeah.
pockets. I never put it on, so actually recently I stopped carrying it.
Oh,
But But yeah, I mean that's always an outfit to think of. Make sure you have the longer wetsuit so you can stay warm.
yeah.
So my favorite update this year, I liked the autumn stuff a lot, specifically when the pumpkins were added. It blew
Oh.
my mind. I always thought it would happen, but it still surprised me that it actually happened. So I really appreciate getting just a new crop to grow, a new thing to do in the game, and
Mm.
it felt like of the things that we could craft and customize and everything, I think the pumpkins realized it kind of the best,
Mm-hmm.
considering like you could grow different colors of pumpkins and everything, and those different colors were more toward actually customizing your furniture. Like that's the one thing with
Mm-hmm.
the customizing feature in general in this game. All you really need is the customization kits. Like you don't ever really need to find other like things to customize an item unless it's the pumpkins, really. I think there
Mm-hmm.
might be some here and there, but it feels like the pumpkins have the whole like foraging for items thing really nailed down, because that was kind of what they pushed at the very beginning of this game. They really pushed the ability to um, live off the land and everything, and to not see that kind of followed through in terms of customization always
Mm.
felt like a little bit of the weaker part of the game for me.
Mm. I hope
Yeah.
we get more vegetables.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Cool.
mean, I expect that to happen, but it seems like they are spreading out a lot of these updates, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. So I guess that covers that. I have one more question for both of you. Who was your best friend on the island this year? Animal Crossing is, of course, a game about the animal friends that you
Hmm.
make. So, which one was your favorite? Sergio, who was your favorite?
Nina, I'm sorry. I don't think you like her,
Oh
but
no!
I'm going with Charlize.
Oh, she's all right. She's all right. You can, I mean, and as much as like, as much as people like to make fun of certain islanders or animals or whatever, everyone's got their own favorites, and that's the beauty of it. So you can like whoever
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah, that's true. And Yeah, you probably remember me saying, "Oh, I love Curly" or "I love Sylvia." Those were my two
Mm.
original villagers. I definitely have a connection with them, and she heard me. She kept hearing me say that, and she didn't say anything. She just kept being friendly to me. And then in Toy Day, she just said, "Oh, you're my best friend," and that just melted my heart. So yeah, I'm going with
Aw.
Charlize. She's always there for me.
That's pretty great. I love that. It's so nice when they win you over, I feel. Like so many
Hmm.
villagers this game New Leaf made it pretty easy, but this game also made it pretty easy. I mean, there's still quite a bit of effort you have to put in to get the villagers you really want, but overall I'd say this is one of the easiest games to get a specific villager you want. So, we're going to fall into those trends where we see a lot of similar villagers across a lot of different islands just because
Hmm.
they're popular ones. There's ones that a lot of people like, and that's only natural just because, there are a lot of really cute ones out there. But I do really appreciate when some of the lesser appreciated ones do find their way into somebody's heart for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess Nina, who was your best friend?
I was automatically starting to type in Gaston as I was filling out our little document. And I'm not sure he has been my best friend
Oh.
for Keel Hall. He was definitely my best friend in New Leaf and in many other games. But I'm just realizing like how long I've had my little pirate crew. I've had Tank on my island for so long. I've had Simon running my island bar for so long, and I fell in love so hard with Gonzo when he
Oh,
replaced
nice.
Gaston. So I've got this like whole crew of pirates on my island who are just the best. Um, and I've really been enjoying, having kind of a mishmash of islanders. So I don't know if I have just one answer for this. I think it's my whole pirate crew in Gilhall.
Yeah, that's a great way to go. I mean, it's nice that we have so many villagers to connect with throughout the game. So I'm
Yeah.
really glad you appreciate a lot of them that you've had.
Well, and like you just said, for some reason this game has just expanded these villagers. I've always been obsessed with Gaston, and all of a sudden I've got these new, like I never had Simon before, and I didn't even know Gonzo existed. So it's just so nice to have kind of new characters to love.
Yeah, I really liked when you found Gonzo and you're like, this guy's great.
Oh my gosh,
He
he's
was just kind of a
amazing.
random one at your tent, right?
Yeah, he was, and it was love at first sight. And then I drew him for the October art, so we're
Yeah,
good buddies now.
really left an impression there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For me, I mean, I go back and forth with who's my best friend quite a bit. Usually I go with either Grizzly or Pearl. They're always pretty delightful around my island, so I tend to enjoy them quite a bit. But I think in this case, I'm leaning Pearl today. I think
Mm-hmm.
just in general, she tends to have all of the sweetest gossip around town
Oh,
and the drama specifically.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
is she snooty?
she's a snooty villager.
Wow.
The funniest thing about the snooty villagers is apparently they can't keep their mouths shut and keep upsetting people with it.
Oh.
So honestly, she gives me the most like smile aisle tasks out of any of my villagers just because she's always like, oh, I did something to this person. Can you deliver this gift for me to make up to them for me? And so I'm just like, yes, you're helping me out here. I need these smile aisle rewards here. Um, so yeah, just like overall, I feel like I always have something something to do because she's gone and done something offensive again. So
She
yeah,
learns the hard way.
yeah, she does, and she just keeps doing it.
Yeah.
It's literally like every day. Awesome. Well, I think that covers it for this whole thing. I think we had a really great year with Animal Crossing, at least. Other parts, maybe not. And hopefully, this next year gets even better. Like I said, as a teaser for next year, we're going to be talking about what we're hoping for in Animal Crossing this upcoming year. So stay tuned for that. It'll be fun. For now, let's actually hop into Haken's Islander Corner and just read some of our patron answers here. For those of you who don't know, every single week we ask our patrons on Patreon a question and read their answers out loud on the show. This week's question is, how did you feel about Animal Crossing New Horizons this year? So I think we will go me, then Sergio, then Nina. And so yeah, I'll start it out here. So Quantrell said, the game was worth the wait. Even without a lot of newly features, it still competes for best Animal Crossing game in the franchise. Knowing that there will be updates in year 2 means this will easily be the longest lasting AC game for me. And I agree with that. I think there may be a lot of things missing. There may be a lot of things that people really want to come back from the previous games, but I think there's still I'm sure a whole year of updates ahead of us, so I'm sure there's going to be some surprises this upcoming year. So I plan on definitely playing well beyond this year for sure.
Oh, yeah. Nice. So Nebula said, it has been such a perfect game to complement an overwhelming year. I was so excited back in March and April when friends of mine who otherwise didn't play many video games were suddenly messaging me asking if we could play ACNH together. The first couple months of sheltering was so much better with not only me and my partner playing every day, but seemingly the whole world riding the Animal Crossing train or bus or seaplane or taxi. And uniting over such a wholesome and positive game. Even though the game isn't perfect because nothing is, it's been a really incredible experience that gets better with every update, not to mention the beautiful visuals and incredible Foley audio. It may not be the game of the year, but it's definitely the game of the year. Wait, what?
I guess it's the game of the year no matter what people say.
We've decided. We've taken over.
Yeah, honestly, I still think it should have won. It just
Yeah.
it filled a hole that was much needed this year for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So Squee of Tortuga says, I'm so glad I bought it when I did. It was so great to have during lockdown, and I think it helped everyone feel connected during such a weird, isolating time. I've met so many awesome people through New Horizon, and it's really inspired me to actually log off and refocus on my creative practices, which isn't usual for a game. I can't wait to see where the game goes next year. I just love this game. So sweet. These answers are amazing. They're making me emotional, and I don't like emotions. So this is amazing. Um, I love that the game has helped Squee, want to be more creative. That, like she said, a lot of games don't do that. It kind of reminds me of when we played New Leaf. The villagers would let you know how long you've been playing, and they were like, maybe you should take a break.
That
But
was
this
the
game doesn't do
3DS.
this, and it still lets you take a break. Like, it's just nice, and the community is so nice. So very uplifting.
Yeah, I feel like that was just the 3DS. They were trying to get you not to play as much
Yes,
as possible.
I never understood that.
Undeserved 3DS. Come on.
Mm.
All right, so our next answer is from Ganucci, and they said, this was my game of the year. I don't know what I would have been doing all of 2020 if it hadn't come out this year. I knew this game was going to affect me a lot, but it has truly been the highlight and best thing in a long time. Yes, it has flaws, but every time I think of them, I'm just reminded by the fact that I have played this game almost every single day this year. Sometimes for 30 minutes, sometimes for 6 hours. This game has been a beautiful distraction from difficult times and an escape I really needed. This is without a doubt my favorite game of all time, and I can't wait for it to continue evolving.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a really great answer for sure. I mean, just knowing, just being able to step back and appreciate it. You know, whether it's 30 minutes you spend with the game or 6 hours like that, which I'm sure plenty of us have done both of these.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just really nice to have like something to step back and appreciate every once in a while and, just share a little journey with you for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Ledo Jaeger said, I put more hours into New Horizons in a span of a few months than New Leaf's entire cycle. I bet only the GameCube original comes close to my playtime with New Horizons. Looking forward to more 2021 updates, breathing life again and again into my experience with this game. Oh, I think they definitely will.
Yeah, I think there's some updates coming. I mean, all we really know so far is that we're getting some Mario items and, the January update with
With
Pave
Pave,
for
yeah.
Festival. Yeah, so there's some stuff on the way.
Oh, I love Pave. I'm so excited. All right, let's see. Islander Logan says, despite finding the time or despite still finding the game a bit lacking in places, I've absolutely adored ACNH so far. It has really, really helped me get by, and I have played it daily since the 19th. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have it. Ugh, this is so true for so many people. Like, it's just been a year. This year has been a year. And I'm so glad I have Animal Crossing too. I honestly don't know what I'd do without it also. Logan, I understand.
It definitely took us on a journey for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast. Don't want the episode to end? Well, you can keep the conversation going by Nintendo switching over to our Discord. Just follow the link in the description, and you can talk with other people who love Animal Crossing as much as you do, including Sergio, Nina, and me. Want to support the show in a bigger way and get your voice heard during the show? Visit patreon.com/ChuiPlaysNintendo. You can support our show with just $1, get special access to a secret room on Discord, join in on the Haken Islander Corner, and even read a monthly newsletter covering all things Haken and Chuy Plays. We really appreciate the support and put your money towards some great things on the show. Tuned in on YouTube? The comments are a great place to let us know your answers to the Haken Islander Corner. How did you feel about Animal Crossing New Horizons this year? If you dig what you hear, please take a slide over to that review section on your platform of choice. Let people know what they're missing out on. Haken is a Wild production brought to you by Chuy, Sergio, Nina, and all of our patrons. We thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you all next time.